Hi, my name's Alicia Kaminsky, and I'm a career counselor here at College of the Canyons. I wanted to share with you today the 5 steps of the career exploration process that we use on our campus to help our students find their major, connect college to a career, create a college to career life plan, and really just help move our students from where they're at to where they'd like to be. So I want to go through our 5 steps and explain and share with you what we share with our students. So when our students first come into our office, of course, the first thing we could begin with is asking them what we can help them with. Remember, it's always important to hear them out and listen carefully for what their needs are, never assuming that you know what they need. So majority of our students sit down and we welcome them. We ask them, what can I help you with? What were you looking to accomplish in today's meeting? And majority of our students will state that they don't know their college major. And the first thing I reassure them is that they don't have to choose a college major. So I take that pressure off them. And then I kind of joke and I explain they do have to select a few careers that they'd like to be able to enter upon graduation. So I tell them, you pick a career and we'll then select the right college major. So we begin the process by me educating them on really the history of how we got to where we are today. Majority of our students are really nervous. They aren't sure how to choose the next step. They come in asking, can you help me pick my classes? Can you help me find my major? But we have to slow them down. We have to explain to them that as a society, we've spent the last 30 plus years really trying to build a college-going culture. And what this means is that they may have missed out on the opportunity to truly sit down and reflect on the type of career that they belong in. That we've spent so much time talking to them about college that we've really missed the deeper conversation of what are you going to do after college. So I explained to them that it's nothing they've done wrong. If they're feeling that they're an indecisive student or an undecided student and they have that anxiety, it's really quite common. So I first try to reassure them that this is unfortunately a normal feeling, but then I tell them that we're here to help. Our department is called the Hub, and what we do inside the Hub is help students to use some reverse engineering to come up with a game plan, a really big picture game plan. We believe that if they can unlock a few careers that they would like to enter, then we can easily work backwards to figure out all those pieces that are bringing them anxiety. What is their college major? What classes should they be enrolled in? What clubs should they be joining? What extracurricular activities should they be doing? Even what part-time jobs should they be working during their college experience? Because all of these pieces of their puzzle should be connected to their ultimate goal, that career that they'd like to break into one day. So we begin by explaining that the first step is doing some career exploration. We call this the Who Am I? And our OER or our zero text cost book that is associated with our counseling career courses actually mirrors and follows these same 5 steps. Our career coaches, which are folks out on the high school campus trying to help our high school students be better prepared before they come to COC, are also using the same verbiage and these same 5 steps. So our hope is that by the time they get into our office, they may have actually been exposed to these 5 steps before. Our first step, though, is really figuring out 2 very important pieces of their puzzle. The first one that I feel is extremely important is figuring out what are you good at. We have to unlock the kind of work that they've been doing their entire life. I ask my students, do you have siblings? Most people say yes, a brother, a sister, they have some siblings or close family members. And I usually begin by asking them, do you ever look at your brothers and sisters and think, wow, how are we related? How are we even possibly related because we're so different? And they usually laugh and tell me, yeah, I see that a lot. And this is where I start to explain to them that there's some sort of a role, there's some job they've been playing within their family unit or with their friend unit. There's some role they've played their entire life that no one formally trained them on. No one taught them how to do, but it's something that they have just been doing. And I say if we can unlock the kind of work you've already been doing that you're naturally good at, then that's going to help us to figure out what we should pay you to do in the world of work. And then I tell them we have other assessments that really deeply look into what are you passionate about or excited about. Because we don't want to pick a career just off of I'm good at it, because sometimes that's boring and it might not be fulfilling. So the second piece that we look at through our career assessments is, what are you interested in? What excites you? What holds your attention? Because if we can really come up with a list of what you're interested in and a list of what you're good at, and then bring them together, it's that beautiful overlap that we start to really find our potential career matches. We start to find places that we would be very fulfilled doing. So I explained to them that we have a few career assessments. Here at College of the Canyons, we currently use Cooter Journey, the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, the Strong Interest Inventory. All of these assessments are completely free to our students. When they book an appointment to see a career counselor in the Hub, these links are sent to them via email so that they can take Cooter Journey at home, and when they sit down, the first meeting is us looking at the facts, the details within those career assessments, so that we can have a deeper discussion the moment they walk into our office, that very first meeting. I then usually interrupt and tell the student, by the way, you should keep in mind that we're not a one-hit wonder. If I was a magician and I could figure out your career in 55 minutes the first time we meet, then that would be amazing. I say I'd be a billionaire if I could figure this out. But what I remind them is that this is a journey, and most likely they're going to meet with the career counselor on average 2 to 3 times. Because when we start to collect information on them, they then have to go home and reflect upon it. They are the ones in control deciding where their life is going. So during our first meeting, we usually go through their career assessment. We read the results, we spend time together. It's an hour long where we start to kind of collect those pieces of their puzzle. Once we've really looked into what is their personality type, what are their skills, what things are they interested in, and we have a long list of some job titles, this is when they have homework. So we then look to our step 2, which is usually their homework. We show them how to do the homework, and what their real homework is to take those job titles and start reading. They have to spend time educating themselves. What we ask them to do is that when they get that list of job titles from the MBTI or Cooter Journey or any career assessment, I've had students walk in and say, hey, I took the ASVAB, can you take a look? Any career assessment we're using, we take that list of potential job titles and I tell them, this is not a list that just simply says, here's a career list, pick one, this is what you're going to be when you grow up. Instead, what they do is they take each of those job titles and they now have to read about it. They have to learn about it. They have to decide for themselves if it's a good fit. So I'm asking them to narrow those results of 24, 50, 100 job titles down to something like 3, 4, maybe 5 job titles that they're really excited about. Because what I want them to do is make some informed decisions for themselves. I tell them that they can't let me pick for them. They can't have their mom or brother or neighbor or sister. It has to be them sitting down. And I remind them that this step of exploration, there is no quick, cool, fun app that does it for them. They have to sit down and they have to use some of the online tools like ONET and BLS and some of the tabs on Cooter Journey or our Candid Career account to really start to unfold and unpackage. What does this career actually look like? Do I envision myself doing it? Am I excited to learn more about this career? And if it's on the list of, yeah, I think this is a potential, then they leave it in the pile of, I'd like to talk about this career in more detail. If they read about it and go, oh, that sounds terrible, I am not at all interested in it, they cross it off. I think one of the hardest things for this generation is to actually cross things off. You don't have to have 100 job titles. You just have to have 4 or 5 that you're really genuinely interested in. So I have them start narrowing down their results because everybody already knows teacher, doctor, lawyer, firefighter, professional athlete. I need them to read about careers they've never heard of. What's a contract historian? What's an epidemiologist? There are all these exciting careers that they never even knew existed. So I send them home to start narrowing down their results. They usually return to us for the third or the second meeting for us to begin during the third step our second meeting, to begin really digging deeply. So when they return to me, I get the chance to say, okay, you've read all of your results. You've chosen a few that are really the forefront that you want to know more about. Let's now continue on a deeper level. What I like to do with our students in that second meeting is to visit a professional association for those careers to actually open up a live job application. I think it's bananas that so many students out there sign up for college, put blood, sweat, tears into coming here every day, taking classes and studying and finding a parking spot. And yet they never took a few minutes to sit down and actually open up a live job application that they're hoping to fill out one day and make sure that everything they're doing today is in line with what the industry expectations are. So often our students get their information from, oh, my neighbor, he's an attorney and he's been practicing for 25 years or 30 years or 15 years, and he told me this is all I have to do. It's really scary to put all of our current decisions of the classes we're taking, the major we've declared, in the hands of somebody who entered that profession years and years ago, because the industry may be changing. I recently read an article about how the tech industry is looking for more liberal arts students. It's so important that they have the ethics covered. Now that they've hired tons and tons of computer scientists to design things, they need someone else to come in and say, ooh, should we be doing that? So it's important that if you wanted to get into a big tech company, maybe you look to the industry to make sure that who they're currently hiring, if it states on the professional application, must possess a bachelor's degree in philosophy, political science, English, something else than what you thought, it's important to know that today, because you do want to make sure your major is a direct link to the career you're trying to enter. So we actually open live applications. We spend time, we either go through Career One Stop, or I simply Google Professional Association of ... trash truck driver, ice cream scooper, whatever their favorite career is. We pop it in and we go to that professional association's website. Majority of the time, we can actually view the job bank. We can find those professional applications and we can read them together, and we can make informed decisions about what major they should be pursuing. We also spend time just perusing the website. Sometimes spending time with it's like a window or a glimpse into a profession that they're not ready to actually go try that profession today, but they can take a glimpse and go, wow, the things that these professionals are talking about and laughing about and angry about are the same things I hold dear to my heart. So I tell them that the scientific step tells you go to professional associations, but when you're there, you have to trust your gut and you have to actually spend some time just deciding, are these my people? Do I belong in this industry? Is this something that I could see myself talking about the same things one day? I remind them that they're not going to understand all of the professional jargon, but they're going to get the gist of it. And they're going to start to think to themselves, wow, there's a conference coming up, and although I don't have $1,200 to attend the conference, I can just read what the keynote speakers are going to talk about. I can look at some of the breakout sessions and I can decide for myself that I would really enjoy those topics. Or I can decide for myself, the things they're talking about in that professional association aren't really the things that I'm interested in. And then I know that this is not a good fit for me, or I know that this is a good fit for me. So we use professional associations for them to really see the industry and to read the job applications so that they can confirm their major, which takes us to step 4. Where do I go from here? If the student has opened up a job application for a public relations specialist, and it says on the application, must possess a bachelor's degree in journalism, communication, English, or a similar field. Instead of looking at my 90+ college majors and programs and feeling overwhelmed, we can now just focus on 3. Let's explore the journalism major here at College of the Canyons. Let's explore the English major. Let's explore the communication studies major. Let's look and see if one of them feels right to you. We also use our general education pattern at that time to look and go, oh, look, You could try a media, entertainment, arts, journalism course right here in your general ed pattern. Or you can try an English class by taking your English and critical thinking. You can try a communications class by taking your public speaking. We try to be more thoughtful or mindful when we're selecting their general education classes to expose them to the majors that they're kind of between. That way they can feel out the actual course. And oftentimes I ask them to come back for their third meeting after they've actually dabbled in the class that they're thinking about majoring in. Now that they get into that English class and that comms class and that journalism class, they can get firsthand a real experience that goes, this is my major. What's happening in here I can't turn off. When I leave the classroom, my world is more clear. This is the lens that I need to actually go out into the world and make a difference. So I ask them to dabble and take some courses. We also encourage them to join clubs. We encourage them to take a part-time job maybe in that industry. We come up with a game plan for ways that they can really start seeing that work in today, not waiting for tomorrow to get started. We use assist.org to look at where they're going to transfer because, again, if we're not always thinking ahead, we could be making the wrong decisions here. That's why it's important to look at a bachelor's degree in journalism and use something like assist.org to work backwards to figure out, well, gosh, at COC, would I be better off as a media, entertainment, arts, journalism major? Would I be better off as a journalism for transfer major? Would I be better off as a communication studies major? Which one aligns with getting me to the university I want to go to next to obtain that bachelor's degree that the industry is expecting me to get? And now we can use that reverse engineering to start making informed decisions. We like to go onto LinkedIn as well and use their alumni tool. If a student asks me, this is my favorite question when they come in and they say, what's the best school for business? Or what's the best school for fill in the blank, any college major you can think of? And I laugh and I say, there's no one answer. To each their own. Let's explore. Let's look at each of the campuses that you're interested in and figure out based off of your personality and you where you would thrive. Because we each have our own preferences. And if I chose for them or I used a top 10 list found on Google, that might not be the best place. What I like to show them is that if we use LinkedIn's alumni tool, we can actually look up a certain college, a particular major, and a list of all of their alumni. And I tell them, if you go on there and you notice that all of their alumni have a job title that says, a barista, it says they're a nanny, it says something outside of the profession that they were trained to work in, that should be a red flag that maybe attending that college or university and getting that degree isn't going to open up the kind of work you are hoping to pursue. So I like to use this as kind of a tool that helps them see, wow, if I go to this college and major in this particular field, I might end up at one of these companies that the current alumni are working in. So it really then starts to showcase to them where their life could go. The last step is then selecting their college courses. We do help our students choose their classes for the upcoming semester. We build student education plans. And in our student education plans, we have links to outside extracurricular things that they could also be doing, because just picking classes and getting a particular degree, as we know, is not enough in today's society. We need to make sure that the day they graduate, they have a college degree, or they have a certificate, or they have the training they need, but they also have some life experience. We're housed in the same building as our internship program for a very, very important reason. We work hand in hand with them to have our students start pursuing work in the field while also working on their education. So we're very mindful in trying to make sure that our education or our student plans have other pieces that include real life experience now. It's important to get involved in the type of work you want to do today to make sure you don't absolutely hate it. It's so important. I've had many students come. Recently, I just had a student who came in, went through the entire nursing program, and it wasn't until they started putting her inside the hospital that she realized, I am sick all the time. I have never been so sick in my life. She said she's picking up germs and she's just not sure she's healthy enough to work in a hospital setting. So we did some jigging and we thought of some other unique ways she could use her nursing degree outside of a hospital. And we came up with a game plan for her. And then we sent her out to look at some of those locations and get a feel for them, so that again she can make an informed decision in where she wants to apply her studies one day. So we do build those education plans, and we help our students make sure that all of the dots are connected, from the work they're doing today in the classroom to the kind of work they hope to do in 2, 3, 4, or 5 years from now. It's so important that we are using reverse engineering in career counseling, that we're thinking way ahead, because it's scary to leave our students with kind of a foggy idea of what life looks like the day after graduation, because we may have set them up for failure, not to be able to use that college degree to actually move them into the kind of work they were meant to be doing. So these are our 5 steps. They might not be perfect. You might do something different. I'd love to hear what you do differently. But I do find that our students are very happy. When they've met with us 2 or 3 times, we find that they come back and they often say, thank you. You literally saved my life, which we kind of laugh and we go, oh, we didn't do that much. But when you see that joy in their smile and you know that you did help them make an informed decision, it feels pretty awesome. So I thank you for listening to us. I thank you for hearing out our 5 steps. And again, I'm curious and would love your feedback or input, because we are constantly changing and evolving, and we're always open to new ideas. Thank you.